Hey folks, it's Dr. Rowe here. Hope you're well. Let me just adjust my microphone. Just sending you greetings. I thought I'd touch on a subject. Obviously, we're here talking about communication and communicating with impact. And this is a subject for me that's quite close to my heart, partly because I used to be in the corporate world, dealing a lot in management and also with management, having extracted myself out of that many years ago. We're literally talking 1998, I think. My world changed in the sense that I went into consultancy work, but then had a lot of dealings with management as a consultant, and then in the world of personal development coaching and working globally with different organizations, large stage events when I started speaking, and of course, sometimes get engaged to come into companies and work with them. Communication skills in management are absolutely critical, probably more so than ever before, particularly as we've got two emerging, I think, spaces at the moment. One is the space of the traditional corporate institutional type setups where they're very rigid in their way of doing things. And then you've got the new emerging entrepreneurial type businesses that are forming. And in both of those, when people become more senior and looking after other people, sometimes the communication skills can be lacking. And of course, that can affect the whole business. So this is a massive, massive area. And if you boil it down, one of the things that people ask a lot of questions about is interpersonal communication skills. Have I got any tips on that? I mean, we could spend a whole day just talking about this one subject. Now, of course, there's a whole system of communication that I talk about, 38 components, but I want to delve into sort of different elements of that very quickly and share with you that if you can master this one area and you're in management, most people don't realize this, but this will increase your viability in terms of people looking for new people to come into different roles. You'll be very appealing to the higher echelons of the business, the people that own the business or that are more senior than you, that want to have people come in and do different things and work within the groups and take the business out and present it and articulate a message, possibly sell a product or a service or sell the business outwardly. Equally, it's going to give you a higher income, I think, because if you look at it from the perspective of the more effective somebody is at communicating, the more they can get their message across, the more they can sell their idea, their concept themselves and the products and service of the business, then that's a huge appeal to someone that's owning a business or that you're possibly moving to aligning on a partnership level, etc. So, I mean, there's a big picture we can talk about. So the benefits are, one, income increases, two, different opportunities in your job, but equally it might be that if you're running a business, an opportunity to really scale things up and take your business out into a different space as well. Interpersonal communication skills, absolutely essential. So I've put together 4 things that I think are really important when you're dealing with people. That nice image in the background there of the gentleman talking there, and he's, let's say senior management, and he's relating to people. The first thing is this: whenever you're talking to another person or a group of people, one of the most powerful interpersonal skills that you can have is to understand who you're dealing with. Now you might think, well, I already know that, doctor. I'm dealing with Bill and he's the accounts manager. Okay, but that doesn't really mean you understand Bill, the accounts manager. You just know that's his name and that's his role. So what we're talking about here is developing a rapport. We'll come to that in a minute, but understanding what their basic needs are. It might be worth writing this down, actually. What their basic needs are as a human being. Do they crave certainty and security and control? Or are they more a variety-driven person who loves free-flowing interaction, is a little bit more wilder? Are they somebody that really value collective thoughts from people? Or are they more of an individual, a loner? They like the idea of creativity. Everybody has different needs, different aspirations. So it's understanding their core needs, maybe understanding the top 3 values. What do they value most? Do they value integrity most, health most, good quality relationships most? Do they value success, acknowledgement? There's a whole range of different things we can value. And when I wrote my book, Turning Point, I actually went through and elicited a whole process for people to use if they're trying to get values of another person, but also for themselves as well. So you can usually get that by the way they are. So for example, somebody that's always out, enjoying themselves, maybe going out and socializing, they're going to value that maybe more over staying at home, whereas somebody else might be more of a homely person and their family is really important to them. So they'll go and do things with their family rather than go and socialize with other people. Why do we need to know that? Because when we're communicating with people and we find some synchronicity, we can develop a rapport with them. So I'm looking at beliefs, I'm looking at their core needs and their core basic values, and then get an understanding of what their vision is of the world. How do they perceive the world? How do they see themselves in the world, and how they see themselves in the company structure that you're in? That's a big ask for a lot of people. They're too busy. Hey, come on, doctor, I'm too busy. I'm managing all these people. I've got this. I've got to account. I'm directly responsible to the CEO of the company, whatever. I haven't got time to do this. Well, interpersonal skills are exactly that, interpersonal skills. So you want to really grow your team. You need to get to know them. And then, of course, that leads to number 2, which is developing rapport. So once you understand a person, find a way to synchronize with them. Get that rapport with them. Talk the language that they talk. You want to talk about family, but do it in an authentic way. If you've got a family, maybe you can find a way to relate. You may even on a daily basis see some commonality. Because you're so busy, you never bring it up. Bring it up. Find a way to relate to them so that they can relate to you in such a way that when you're in a conversation, they just feel at ease with you. It's like slipping on the glove, in and out. They just go into that space of, I feel comfortable with this person. And rapport comes in many, many guises. You can physically get rapport with somebody. You can breathe with them. If I take a sigh like that, breathing in, and you're talking to somebody, maybe you do a gentle sigh as well. If they're leaning forward, you lean forward with them. If they lean back, you lean back a little bit. You get a way to get, because most people, when you get into a rhythm with their breathing, with their physiology, their language patterns, their facial gestures, they'll feel much more comfortable with you. That is absolutely essential when you want to develop interpersonal skills, because the minute somebody feels, oh, you know what, I can relax with this person, now they'll start to be more authentic and they'll start to share something a bit more personal, but also they'll be more open to communicating with you and coming around to your way of thinking as well. Because it might be that you have an idea you want to get people to buy into, but if you keep pushing, they're going to push back against you. Whereas if you can get into a dance, a rhythmic dance, verbal dance with them, that's going to change the whole experience for them and you. Which leads me to number 3, as it's on the screen there, and that is listen, 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 listen. So in the process of piling into a conversation, you might be enthusiastic, but you can't be going, blah, 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 blah. Get a sense of how they are. What's the headspace like? You might be setting down for a meeting. You might want to just check in with everybody. What if one person's had a car accident on the way in, but they've managed to get in, everything's fine, but they're a bit shaken up? What if somebody's come in from home and there's been a big bust up with their husband or their wife? Somebody else might have had a tragedy or some sort of bad news at home or from the family. It could be any number of things. So sometimes it's important to just open up the space, get a sense of where everybody's at. And then when people start to talk about what they're passionate about or their view on something, if you've got one view, like, I want things to be red, and they're thinking, well, it could be green. You're like, no, I want it to be red. But it could be green, because if you look over there, that grass looks kind of green to me. No, that's red grass. Yeah, but most grass isn't red, but that's definitely red grass. If you've got such a strong view and you're not listening, because they're going to be telling you how they feel and what they see, try and get some perspective shift so you can look at it from their perspective as well. Listening allows me to do that. Now I've gone out of focus, so let me try and put my glasses on. Oh, there we go. Why did he put his glasses on to get it into focus? You're probably thinking that's quite clever. Actually, no. For some reason, the camera catches an edge and then you get a nice focus again, whereas my face is too round, and here it is again, you see. I haven't got enough edges. I need some hair. All right, let's do that again. That's not so smart, is it? This is supposed to be an intuitive camera. Usually, most of the time it is. So listen first. And finally, the last one is just be authentic. Don't try and make something up to create rapport. If they say, I like Indian food, and you go, oh, okay, that's interesting. I've never been a great fan of Indian food. I like Thai food. And they go, oh, yeah, I like Thai food as well. Now you've got some commonality there. But be real, be authentic. Just show up as you. I'm very much like that when I'm on these cameras. There's no need for me to get all angular and makeup and everything's got to be perfect. Let me take 1, take 2, take 3. Oh, we went fuzzy. Let's just be yourself. And authenticity carries a huge amount of weight. That real you, that real voice that comes out, that's how you create that connection with people. And they will find something in you that they relate to, and that allows them to feel authentic themselves, and they can come to the table and start to open up. And within any structure in a business where you're dealing with somebody at a lower level in the company or all the way up to the top, if you can find a way to relate to all these different people with these skills, you'll be likable. Your people will want you around when there's a problem, when solutions need to be held, but also when there's tension in the company or there's a bit of conflict going on. You could actually soon find yourself in the position of the person that they like to have around to solve problems to some of the issues that go on. Okay, hopefully that was useful. 4 important steps, interpersonal skills. Go have some fun with it.